Hello friends, today in this video we will explain how to create login page and how to integrate with the API and database and Angular. So in my you can see that here this is a login page. Here put the username and password, and after click on login button, and let's move to the dashboard page. This is a Angular application and I will explain step by step. Okay, please try to understand. So suppose that I put here username and password like that, and click on login button and hit API and return data, showing here message as a warning. Credits are not correct. Please try again. Correct. It's simple. So if I enter here correct password like that, and we have one option to we can see that is the password. Click on login button and hit API and login the login application. Let's see. Okay, at the rate BIP 12345. 1 2 3 4 5. Correct. And we have to use here login. So it's redirect to dashboard page. So in this video, and I will explain how to create login page and component, and how to create service, and how to directly call API and API, how to connect database, and how to uh, fetch the data, and how to identify user is valid or not. All these things I will explain in this video. Let's start. So before I start, I will explain one thing. Suppose that I log out this page and log in, log out here, and suppose that default page, I remove this one like that. So actually most of the time in our mind have one query like and my application should be like that, and whenever user try to access first open normal page without authentication, correct? So whenever my application Angular application running showing look like, and suppose that I will give here login button. Once user login application, then open login page. By default whenever our application running, that times load default page like that. And suppose that in our application have one panel, login panel, and when I URL change the login and open the login page, once you user login in application, then move to the dashboard page. This type of requirement, correct? By default login page, not by default login page. By default is our website page, web application page. When user click on login page, then move to the login page and enter the username and password, correct username and password. After click on login button and move to the dashboard button, and then access the dashboard related things. Okay, so move to the code side. So I will explain here code wise. So here I have divided code into two category. One category is that like outside dashboard, like home page. One is a dashboard side. Okay, so this is application architecture design here in Angular side. So SRC. So inside the SRC have option app. Inside the app, and we have design here home component and home component, and inside the home component banner detail footer over the home component. Okay, so here app.module.ts. Inside the app.module.ts, I define this page. Suppose that default page always call this home component. Home component already show out the user list, like reasoning list data, whatever data, and so, and we have put here one URL login. Whenever I put login, so it's called to the login component, correct? Inside the login component, I didn't use here any auth guard. You can see that here can activate auth guard. I I I I didn't use here, correct? It's showing here without auth guard login component. we can access without any authentication. No need to login. Correct? It's a login component. So login component, go to the implementation login component. Correct? So it's login component, Angular side. We have designed selector. We have put here which HTML use here, template URL, style URL component dot CSS. Correct? And constructor we have pass here ng on it, ng on submit. Okay, so login page, and we have designed here like look like. So we are checking here mobile, okay, on submit username password. So you understand login component whenever we access without login, so it's called this method on submit. On the submit, I put here the login code. Correct. So we have written here some code, for example debugger here. Correct. So please understood login user. Correct. So I am passing a, we have created already login service, login user, and pass a username and password and subscribe the data. Okay, go to the implementation of login user. Go to the implementation login user. Okay, you can see that here I am calling here root URL. Root URL, that means my API endpoint. So API endpoint I am passing here body, whatever value input here in my body like username and password, which value I get from login form like username and password I keep inside the body and I post here body like HTTP post. Correct. So we are passing here HTTP post. So we can identify here API and login. So my API putting here in .NET side, I want to show here you like we have created one API here. This is my solution here in .NET side. I am using here like Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code both. Visual Studio Code used for Angular purpose. I am it's comfort for me, and I am using .NET Visual Studio here for .NET API. So API showing here. So simply in login controller have login method. This one, correct. So we are using here login method, and I add here debugger, and in this login method I use here one login service. So we are using here dependency injection things. So I have created controller and one layer, a different layer, code layer. Inside the code layer, I am using here service, login service. Inside the login service, I written code here. Correct? It's like login method, login functionality. I written here. I will explain line by line this code. Don't worry. And what's going on here, I will explain. Okay, so move to the UI side first here. So this is a login page, and suppose that I put here username info India, and put here accurate password, correct password. Suppose that I'm using wrong password here .com. I debug here like that and click on login page. Okay, so you can see that here, and we are passing here username and password. Correct. Login service, login user. It's a Angular component, login component. So here I am calling service. So you can see that here root URL defined here local local host 52395. Correct. 52395. These are my port number and the root URL. Use root URL and I pass the value in body, password and username inside the body, and I'm hit here API. This is the Angular side component, and after component have service. Right. Once it hit on service, it's come here controller, login controller. You can see that here the login controller. On in login controller, we are using here HTTP post verb. Correct. Inside the HTTP post verb, we are using here login. Correct. So login, and pass here login method. You can see that here value comes here. Correct. So password and user number are showing here, and just go to the service side here, login method called here. After that we define, I have written here one query. It's a, we can say that like, we are fetching the data from table and user repo. We are fetching the data from user repo, and we are passing here username. Whatever username I pass here, and just check here. So data is not found for this username. Actually, I am pass here username infoindia78 at the rate gmail coc0om. This email address is not available in database. Just I check first whatever email address a user put into the email username box, it's available in our database or not. I checked in database, but data is not available. So I here use if condition. So in this if condition, I check here data is available or not. Correct. So data available or not. So data is not available here. Function at 10. So written here I create already enum. You understood? And in database side I will show you user table. We have one user table here. Whatever I try to access there. Correct. So in this table, and you can see that here have ID infoindia78 at the rate gmail.com, and but this 78.c0om is not available in database side. Correct. So data is not found in database. So simply, and I written here enum value user not found. Correct. Function at 10 and return value here. And again code written here http response to http interceptor. After that http interceptor API return the response. I check here response function at 10. 1 second. So its status showing here. What status come 5. Status 5. Why? Next question is that why status come 5 here. Actually our user is not matched, existing in our database. So enum value I written here is not found. Is not found. We have put how, which value we are using here. Like is not found 5. So that's why 5 showing on you here. So we have used condition if condition here login status false, and we have put here message, like message showing here credentials are not correct, please try again. Correct. And spinner hide. So you can see that here credentials are not correct, please try again. You understand whole process, like in Angular side how to pass username and password, and how to hit API, and after API and controller and service layer. In login service layer I have written logic here. There we have to check all these things step by step. User exists in database or not. If user exists, and next step what's happen. If user not available in database, not exist, that in case what happen. So in our case user not available in database, and so I display one message, and I use here if else if condition. Correct. So next step is that for that now I'm using here correct username and password. Then what happened? Let's see. I click on login button. Again pass here username and password. Correct. And again we are passing here username password. For security purpose we can encrypt this password. We cannot share same password whatever password user in network. We will encrypt this password first and then post. Correct. So hit API here, like that. API hit again, comes here username and password. Correct. Username and password. So again And same things we are passing here, username means email address, and check here. So now showing result, data is available this for this. Now username, that means this email address available in our database, it's correct. Email address available in database, it's correct. But sometimes suppose that you are user, I am also, you are user A, I am user B, correct. My email address, a at the rate b at the rate gmail.com. So if you enter a at the rate gmail.com, so it's login. No, but after check the email address exists in our database, then we will check the password. Let's see how to check. Function F10, I check here, result not null. So result not null. So that means data is available in our database. Now we are checking the password. Function just try. We are catching encrypt the password. Suppose that we receive this password or this salt. Actually, I put the data in database password. We cannot save same password in database. Suppose that, for example, you are user, you are developer. For example, developer keeping the same password, whatever is your create password like @VIP12345. So any one person open the database and check the password and login. For security purpose, no one see the user password, including developer, tester, and company owner. No one. So we have to always, is the policy of the password, we have to keep the password and salt. Password in encrypted format like that, and after salt like that. So here we encrypt the password in database first. Password showing here @VIP12345, and then move to the next and check here user password @BIP12345, and I put here BIP1234454 user login password, correct. So whatever password I put in UI, it's not match. So it's not match, it's error comes here, email password wrong, correct. And go to the password showing here @BIP12345. So again showing here the wrong password, correct. So we have to put here at the rate, sorry, BIP12345, correct. So just hit this method, and again call this API. After API, we are checking here again like that. Username password is find out, and so now username and password is matched. You understood? Uh, like password and our database password and user password is matched, and the email address already valid. Email address already present, and the same username password also valid for this user. And go to next. So user type one and just continue. So okay. So main thing is that here, so I will explain to you. So user details and status. Status is equal to 3. So now status, that means user has been successfully in our database. User is valid. So then we will login status false. So start showing one message. After that we have written code in cookie. We are setting the cookie, username, email, password, user type, whatever information. And after that we are passing a router dot navigate. Once user successfully we have identified whatever username and password is correct in our database, means all these things is valid. So once is everything is valid, we have verified. So after that we will move to the user on dashboard. So then we will return here router dot navigate, correct. Router dot navigate, just click on router dot navigate, and it's redirect to the dashboard page, correct. Let's move to the direct dashboard page. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to see here. And so my concern only in this video, you have to understand all the functionality, how to login functionality work in any application. So So, like how to validate the user and password, and if user not valid, how to display wrong message, and if user is valid and authenticate, then move to the dashboard page. All the things I will explain in this video. If you want to watch more video related to the Angular, like how to implement the all component, so I have already created the video for Angular almost all components, right? C sharp also and SQL interview question also. Okay, thank you so much watching this video. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say in this video.